Hi everyone, like many of you with Mustang GT V8s of the S550 series, you might have decided to do some performance upgrades, as I have done too, and I've now decided to move on to the Ford Performance Pack 2, which includes this kit, which I received recently. What I'm doing as well, really, we've seen enough of these videos probably on the internet, and I'd just like to add another one, but show more about, does the sound out the exhaust change? Does it give more burbles? I've already done a test run in the Mustang with the factory fitted OEM air filter box, and we're going to fit this kit, do the tune with the dongle supplied and the tune supplied by Ford, and then we're going to see how that changes anything, and I hope it does. Just gives it a bit more growl or something anyway, something of a bit more of a spirited V8 sound. Alright, this is a cold start with the original air filter system, the factory OEM air filter in the car. Let's give that a go, and then we'll do the modifications, and we'll repeat the same experiment and see what that sounds like. So here we go, cold start. Give it a bit of a rev as well. That she'll do. We'll go for a quick drive as well, and we'll just see what that sounds like. Well, that's a run around the block. We'll repeat the same drive after we've done the cold air intake changeover, and we'll see what it sounds like then with the cold start included. Now, what I've also done though is, rather than sticking with the Ford paper element, which can become expensive to replace every time you have a service, I've opted for the K&N filter as supplied by Herod Performance. It's a K&N filter. This one actually gets oiled and cleaned and reusable, as many of you would probably know, and that just makes it more of an economical solution, and maybe a better performing solution as well. I'm not going to do any dyno runs in the foreseeable future, so we won't know of any actual horsepower gains, and if we do one in the future, should it ever happen, well, I guess we'll only really be able to compare it with the factory OEM specification. So the whole kit's here, especially notably the GT350 throttle body, which takes the throttle body intake diameter from 80mm to 87mm, which adds to the overall experience of de-restricting the air intake system. Now, this is the first time I've really done any mechanical work to the Mustang at this level, not that it's that big a deal. I did used to have a Roush cold air intake on the system, which is really just the air filter, the box and the air intake. There was no tune required, there was no throttle body change, nothing like that. Ford in the box also supply, as I said already, the dongle, and there's also a few sheets of paper which include your tune download codes. There's a bit of a thing I'll show you quickly on the screen. It's a bit of a thing in Australia though, or outside North America I should say, where you don't just go online and download your tune. You've actually got to ask your Ford Performance dealer, agent, where you got your system from, to supply you with, or ask them to access or give you access to Ford Performance to get the tune, if that makes sense. You can't do it all yourself on your internet, you have to ask them. Okay, that was my experience anyway. What else is there? Well, everything's here as I said. I'm just going to get into it and tune. A couple of notes. I didn't really want to make this about an installation, and I won't be showing you too much of the installation, maybe a before shot and after shot in my vehicle anyway. So, but a note on the installation, that you will need Wi-Fi. There is a way to get around it. You will need a laptop connected to the Wi-Fi, and that's where you install the software that you download from Ford, which then you connect to the dongle that plugs into the OBD2 port to do the tune, which takes about 12 minutes. So you will need power on your laptop, you will need Wi-Fi, and you will need to put your battery in the car on charge while you're doing the update to flash the ECU in the car, because if you don't, there's a chance that the voltage level might drop lower than 12 volts apparently is the limit. If it drops lower than 12 volts, then the vehicle might stop the update and or cause a problem with the ECU, which you don't want to have. So have a charger on your battery, have a good Wi-Fi signal, and put your laptop on charge as well, just to be sure it doesn't go flat during the process. So the first thing we've got to do though is actually fit all the hardware. And we follow the directions. Now I'll show you on the screen now as well. This video is turning out longer than I thought, sorry. I might be waffling a bit, I'll try and cut some of it out. Read through the instruction manual. There's a link on the paperwork that comes with this air intake to Ford's website where you can download the PDF file. Read through that, understand it before you do anything. I haven't done that yet. That will be the next thing I do now, just so that I know is is there anything special about this? There's a bag of screws and bits and pieces, and I kind of know, but I don't know 100%. What about this? This is I can't really show you, but with this system there's a throttle body, GT350 throttle body adapter, which adapts the GT350 throttle body to the intake manifold on the GT 5-litre vehicle. So understanding what to do, where to put Loctite if necessary, which way things go, what order to do things, it's all very important. There's a couple of other tricks as well that I might point out at the end of the video as to what some of my tips anyway, and some of the things to look out for. Let's get into it anyway, and let's get this done, and let's have a look at what happens at the end. And at the end I'll show you what as I said, things that I might have stumbled across that I didn't understand properly. Thanks for this watching, and if you enjoy some random videos on this channel, some things about the Mustang, there's some other things I've done as well, which we might talk about. I've put a carbon fibre front chin spoiler. I've done the GT350 wing on the back. That meant drilling holes in the boot lid. There's a couple of videos already on the internet if you want to see those. But I preferred the third party look because it's carbon fibre, whereas the GT350 wing is painted black apparently. Nothing like wet gloss, wet carbon fibre look. Anyway, sorry for waffling, let's go. tune seems to be going quite well at the moment. Everything's installing properly as it should be. And if you've wondered why the car's registration plate is a Pilot, well, you need to check out my other channel, Box Flying Adventures. If you're into flying or anything aviation, go there and have a look. And if you like what you see, subscribe, and let's move on together in an aviation sense as well. I'll be promoting some of the car stuff on this channel and whatever I do in terms of modifications, but all the flying activities will be on Box Flying Adventures. So thanks for watching, and let's get on with the tune. That's all the hardware installed. Now it's just a matter of installing the calibrated tune from Ford. Let's see how that goes. I can't wait to hear how this sounds after I've done all the modifications, and let's see how it goes as well. I wonder if we're going to experience any real gains, or is it all going to be just a placebo effect? We'll have to wait and watch until the end. Well, we've completed the tune and the install of the cold air intake on my Mustang GT. This is the first cold start, and it's pretty exciting. Let's see what happens. Everything's recording. No tyre pressure. Cylinder head's still warm from this morning. Alright, we'll give it a rev. It's a bit crackly up. Can you hear that? It sounds crackly. And she revs a lot quicker. I'm already noticing a lot more performance. It's just revving, the intake noise is awesome, and there's a bit of popping and crackling. And the response is good. Let's go for a drive. you'll have to agree so far, the sound's a bit different and it's certainly got more response. We'll do a debrief back at the garage. See you soon. Well, that was a good, interesting drive. Okay, so what did I notice? I did notice more pops and crackles and a lot more throttle response. So without opening it up on the local roads, of course, we won't know, but I'll get it out on the open roads sometime in the near future and we'll see how it goes, but I'm expecting good things. No problems at this stage to really point out. Everything went according to plan. There were some installation tricks that I'd like to inform you of, as I thought there might be. One of those was one of the couplings, or the connectors on the original throttle body. When you pull the red tab back to release the connector, it wouldn't slide off no matter what I did, and I found that the little black locking mechanism inside wasn't really releasing, so I just got a little screwdriver inside and managed to pry that up, and it came off okay. There was a few other things as well similar to that were not that easy. When installing the cold air intake body itself, do it without the filter in the actual installed, because you'll need to get your hand up inside the actual air intake that goes to the grill to fix up the rubbers that go around the outside of the duct to make sure it's not going to foul the airflow there. Other than that, most of it was okay. Flashing the firmware into the car, if you don't know what you're doing, it could be a little bit tricky, but I managed to get there in the end. Just don't rush it. Don't unplug anything if things are happening, and make sure you got a charger. I was sitting on 12.0 to 12.1 volts. I believe the limit's like, if it drops to 11.9, it was pretty hit and miss. There could be some issues, but it was mostly okay. Maybe a better charger than what I was using. I was using one of those intelligent C-Tech trickle chargery type things, and don't believe that's enough. Would have been better to start with 13 volts or something on the battery. My battery's actually about 3.5 years old now, so it's probably getting on the tighter side too. So a fresher battery probably would have been better. And let me just think for a minute if there was anything else I really didn't enjoy with this. Difficulty wise, tricks, tips, little catch me outs. I'd probably suggest really it was getting the throttle body adapter in place was okay. Just make sure the threads are going on properly. The hose fittings, make sure you know how to release the hoses. Some of them are push into the actual hose, and some of them are actually a little tab on the side that you undo. There was a spare hose in the box that came with mine that wasn't on the instruction book, and it's actually a different hose that goes from your inlet, your valve cover, rocker cover, to your to the actual air duct. A breather hose, and it's a different shape and it fits better than the original OEM one that was there. That's about it for now. That's a wrap, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it helps you out if you ever decide to do your Ford Performance Pack Stage 2 upgrade. I seem to be happy with mine at this stage, and I look forward to driving it a bit more now. See you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.